Okay, so welcome everybody to this hands-on session and workshop, which is titled Dive into Business Document Processing with AI. So first of all, the official part of the presentation, which is the disclaimer, which I want to share with you that the information in this presentation is confidential and proprietary to SAP, and any forward-looking statements regarding the roadmap that I will be making during the presentation are, of course, only an indication and are subject to change. All right, so after this official part, let's move on to the agenda. So my name is Tomasz, and I am the area product manager in the space of AI business services at SAP Product Engineering, and my focus is primarily on optical character recognition and business document processing. With me is my colleague Tobias, who is the area product owner for the respective services and products related to business document processing. Today, I will be presenting and hosting the workshop. Tobias will be moderating a Q&A session, which is taking place in the chat. Okay, so the objective of today's workshop is to learn how to use document information extraction. So the main points of the agenda is the introduction to the service and to the product, which will take approximately 20 minutes. Then we will jump into the hands-on session where we will go through several exercises that we have prepared for you, and which you can also find in the GitHub repo, but that I will talk about in a second. And then finally, at the end, we will gonna wrap up and summarize the workshop. Before we jump into the content, I would like to make you aware that there were a couple of prerequisites for this session, and the main one is the availability of the free trial account on BTP. So I encourage you now to create this account before we start the hands-on workshop, and this process should take more or less 5 to 10 minutes. My first part of the presentation will take up to 20 minutes, so now you have still the opportunity to create an account if you don't have one already. Just scan this QR code and you will be guided to a tutorial that will show you the guidance and procedure how to create a free trial account on BTP. Just please make sure that you create a sub account which is on the US East landscape. Thanks a lot. All right, so then let's start with the primer on document information extraction. So what do we understand under business document processing, and why SAP is investing into this space? So as you may know, many processes still in enterprises involve processing of business documents, be it, for example, supplier invoices in accounts payable or customer orders in sales. And even though we know that there are various ways how to exchange information electronically between the enterprises, still there are large amounts of documents that are changing hands yearly and are processed manually by administrative employees. The numbers on the left side still show, how cost intensive these processes are. Up to 8 hours per week, employees spend time on processing business documents. Still, over $10 is an average cost for processing a supplier invoice. And up to 90% of enterprise data is still logged within unstructured formats. And exactly, the challenge is to automatically transform unstructured documents into structured information and embed this information directly into the business process to generate instant business value. And exactly solving this challenge is the definition of our value proposition for document information extraction. So what do we actually understand under document information extraction? So some of you might relate it to plain OCR, so optical character recognition from documents, but it's much more when it comes to understanding the semantical information on the document. So first of all, the first aspect is the extraction of information from a document and understanding the context of this information. So understanding that a certain value has a certain meaning. So that's the semantical understanding. The second aspect of extracting information is also the possibility to enrich this information with already available data, for example, in a system of master data records. So you try to map the information that you extracted from the document with the data that is in your system. And finally, the third aspect of our understanding is that we want to provide also extension possibilities, so that you are able also to process document types that are maybe not in the standard of our SAP document information extraction, such as supplier invoices or purchase orders, but maybe they are within a business process which is not a standard one. So this is the overall understanding of what document information extraction means. So what about the value? So the value can be seen in several aspects. So first of all, the increased automation rates, which means less human involvement into the business process. Higher accuracy by leveraging latest machine learning algorithms and techniques and providing that in a compliant enterprise-grade way via the cloud. And finally, with all that, the companies can also achieve significant cost reductions. When it comes to the cost reductions, one of our customers, John from Aspen Pumps, said that document information extraction, which in their case is being used for intelligent invoice scanning, saves up to 350 hours per month. So previously, typically it took them 10 to 15 minutes to process a single invoice. Now they can process within the 10 to 15 minutes all the documents that they upload in bulks. Okay, then let me turn to the product side and the capabilities of document information extraction. By the way, all the assets and information you can find on SAP Discovery Center. You can scan this QR code and you'll get guided to the Discovery Center. So first of all, what are the main product capabilities of our product? The SAP managed use cases are the ones where SAP provides pre-trained SAP managed global machine learning models that can be plugged and play with directly without any need to train or annotate the data and manage machine learning models. These models are provided by SAP and they are also optimized over time as we get more and more data. The use cases that we support as of today are supplier invoices, payment advice notes, purchase orders, and business cards. When it comes to the features and extensions, we also provide as part of the product the user interface application. You will see that in the later in the workshop. Master data enrichment capabilities, where you can match the extracted data with, for example, business entities or with employee data from your master data records. What we also provide as part of the service is business OCR, which is the plain OCR engine, which extracts information from unstructured documents. And this is at heart of the service. You can also take advantage of the OCR only engine. Then when it comes to the extensions, we provide a schema configuration or schema definition in order to provide you the opportunity to extract certain fields or custom fields that we do not provide within the standard. And the template creation and management. This is for the use cases where you have to process custom document types that are also not managed by SAP. What about globalization? We all know that global enterprises work across different regions and countries. So that's why we need to support more and more languages. So there are different languages that are being supported per document type. They are all documented on SAP Help portal. The business OCR engine that I've just mentioned has a much wider support for languages. However, here we do not provide any pre-trained models. Business OCR lets you create your own processing logic. Since this is a service on BTP, we also want to provide this globally in different regions. And as of now, this service is available on different data centers, be it in Europe, in United States, or in the Asia Pacific region. When it comes to the SAP managed use cases, we provide a set of so-called default extractors. Those default extractors, they relate to the header fields that we support and to the set of line items that we are able to support based on those pre-trained SAP managed models. What you can also find on the API Business Hub of SAP is the Docs API reference, which is which are all the API endpoints that the service provides to you for your own custom integration. There are also plenty consumption options that you have. So first of all, you can consume the service, of course, directly via the API, but you can also use the user interface application, which is more for a power user and the business user. And finally, there are also plenty of standard integrations of our service into standard SAP products, where the capabilities of extracting the documents are provided natively in those products without the need for you to integrate directly with the service. Okay, let me also focus a little bit on the roadmap outlook for this particular product for 2023. Main focus of our development will lie in providing training capabilities for custom models. These training capabilities will allow you to provide your own data set, annotate the data set, label it, and then use this data set for training purposes on our infrastructure. With that, you'll get your own capabilities and possibilities to train own models for your distinct use cases. Next to an ML-based approach to document processing, we intend to provide a business rule framework, which will allow you also to process documents based on certain business rules. Not always we need to use ML for that. Another focus next year will be on providing scene text recognition capabilities as part of our business OCR engine, which will allow the support for certain use cases in the wild, as we call it. Our data science teams are also working on new generation of SAP managed models. So we are basically scouting for new techniques and machine learning approaches, how to extract data from documents more efficiently. And this will be also part of the optimization for the already pre-trained models that we provide today next year. We also intend to provide extended file type support. Today, we support PDFs and image-based files. We want to extend it also to an Excel-based files. And we will also provide enhanced schema configuration options so that you are able to provide more capabilities to your custom fields that you want to extract from your documents. Okay, so now let's turn to the business side to understand where you actually can apply this service. So as you can imagine, there are plenty of possible scenarios where the service such as document information extraction can be applied. So here are some of the usual use cases that we experience and see with our customers, be it internal stakeholders or external customers using this service directly. So first of all and foremost, it's the finance department, right? So here, clearly, it's the invoice automation in accounts payable, which is like one of the first low-hanging fruits when it comes to document processing. Another one is in accounts receivable for extracting information from payment advice notes and accelerating this process. You can think about sales, right? So, for example, handling incoming customer orders and automatically creating those orders in your SAP backend system. We've seen also use cases in the area of document management, for example, for managing large amounts of critical documents in legal departments. Another interesting use case or use cases are in the area of shared service centers, be it for finance, where suppliers, for example, request the status of their unpaid invoice, or, for example, in the HR department, where the employees need to deal with plenty of applications from the newcomers. By the way, there are selected use cases which you can here see on this list that are already natively integrated in to our SAP standard product. So wherever you see this SAP logo here, there is an SAP product which already integrated document information extraction to provide this seamless experience. The main advantage of that is that you don't need to integrate with document information extraction, but you start using these capabilities directly within the business process. And with that, we want to provide, as mentioned at the beginning, the instant business value. For all standard integration options, there is a blog post which is linked here on the left side at the bottom that you can review after the session. Okay, so now let's turn to the integration architecture side. So document information extraction is provided as a reusable service on SAP BTP. And this service is provided in form of RESTful APIs, and hence it's easy to be consumed for any kind of integration, be it with an SAP or non-SAP application. The access to the service is secure through an HTTPS connection and an OAuth 2.0 authentication service. Optionally, you can also build secure connections with on-prem landscapes via the connectivity service and the cloud connector. We also provide a web application, so that's the user interface application that I was mentioning before, for even easier consumption of those APIs. By the way, next year we will be also providing reusable UI components. So we want to slice the web application into logical UI components that we will be providing also to you, so that you can include them into your own user or customer journey that you are building at your customers or in your enterprise. With that, you can provide also a seamless experience to your end users. All right, so with that, I'm at the end of the first part of my presentation. And now I want to invite you to the hands-on session that I will be now guiding. So we have prepared a GitHub repository where we prepared several exercises and sample documents for you so that you can play and play around with. The way I envision it today is that we will go into this GitHub repository right now, and we will go exercise by exercise. You will also see that there are a couple of links that will guide you to the tutorials that describe step by step how you should do the exercises. What I will be doing those exercises live in a show and tell mode, so that you can see how it can be executed. Okay, so I hope that you already scanned this QR code and that you are already on the GitHub repository. Let me now open that as well. Okay, so that's the GitHub repository that we prepared. Here is a short description of the contents of this repository. And actually, you can basically already start playing around. So first of all, the main requirement, as I mentioned at the beginning, the prerequisite for this session is the availability of the free trial account on BTP. So I hope by now all of you have the account, but maybe just to be on the safe side, let me guide you quickly through the process how to create such an account. So it's quite easy. What you have to do, you just go to the sap.com page. Here you can switch the language to the preferred one. Let me go to the English. And basically what you need to do here, you just go on this icon here in the upper right corner, and you have the possibility to register with your own details. Once you have registered here, you'll get an email where you have to activate the account. For those who already registered, you can now log in. So let me go and try to log into the BTP. Okay, that's now a bit strange, but it's not working. Just give me a second again. So let me try again to log in. Okay, so now everything is fine again. So I need to provide my email address that I used for creating an account. So I used a private one. Now I can provide my password. And with that, I have my account on the sap.com. So from here, I can now go to my icon again, and I have access to plenty of assets. And one of the assets that I'm interested now in are the free trials. Here, you have the possibility to customize your content that you are interested in. So I selected SAP Business Technology Platform as the main content that I am interested in. And now the advantage of that is that if I scroll down, in this section of recommended trials, I can now see also the trial for SAP Business Technology Platform Developer Edition free trial. From here, I can just try it out. So I'm getting this information that I can now access my free trial. I have my user ID here, and either I can click on the link here and I will be guided to the cockpit, or just clicking on this big button here. Okay, here again, I need to provide my login. And now I will be automatically logged in. Good. So far, so good. With that, we have done the prerequisite. So I hope all of you now have access to the BTP cockpit of yours. And the second part of the prerequisite was to run the booster for document information extraction. So let me go back to my BTP cockpit. So what you can see here is the option to directly access the trial account. You can also see several tutorials that are listed, or you can also navigate to the tutorial navigator to find even more tutorials. So today, let's go directly to the trial account. What you can see here is the list of sub-accounts that I have in my global account. And you should have seen, or you should see now your default sub-account. The one I created here is the TechEd 2022. And the provider region, as I've mentioned before, is the US East environment. And there the trial is available for document information extraction. So once you are here, it's quite easy to create and start using the document information extraction service. What we provided for you for that is a booster. So we go here to the left side on this panel, and you'll find a set of boosters. You can quite easily search for document information extraction, and then you see there is this tile that helps set up an account for the service. So either you click here directly on start, or you click on the tile, and you'll see some additional information about the service, about the potential use cases, and additional resources. And then you can click here on the start button, and you will be guided, or it's going to be automatically executed. So the assignment of the service quotas, creating of a service instance, the service key, and assigning the corresponding roles that will allow you to use the service as well as the application. Once you have seen this successful message here, you can actually go directly to the application here. What you can also do is you can download the service key if you want to play around with the Postman and APIs. So for today, let me go directly to the application. All right, so with that, I'm at the landing page of document information extraction. Okay, so let's go back to our GitHub repository and see what we have just accomplished. So we basically now executed all the requirements for the exercises that we will run through now. So we have created a free trial account on the BTP. We run a booster for document information extraction, which helped us to create the service instance and assign a document information extraction user interface. And with that, we are actually all set to start the exercises. For today, we prepared 2 main exercises and 1 optional one, if there is enough time, so that we can also play around with the features of the service. So first of all, let me start with the very first exercise. This exercise will be quite quick. It's a pre-check exercise. So we've just said that we created a service instance and that we can plug and play with the service, which means that we have now access to the pre-trained global models. So let's check and see whether those global models are really accessible. For that, you can download a sample document of the document type a supplier invoice. And this supplier invoice looks like this. So you can see it's a regular document. It's a PDF. It contains several header fields such as invoice number, PO number, invoice date, due date, total amount. And there's also a table which contains 1 line item with several line item information that you might also be interested in, the description, the unit price, and subtotal. So let's go to the UI and let's try to upload this document to check whether the pre-trained model works. For that, I will be using this document part of the UI. I have no documents that I uploaded, so now I can add a document. So let's click on this button, and then the wizard opens. It's a 3-step process. First of all, we need to select some metadata. Today, we want to process an invoice. Schema, we don't need to provide at this exercise because we will be using a pre-trained model of SAP, which provides an SAP schema, which I'll explain in a second. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to upload this sample invoice that we've just seen. You can upload up to 50 files at once. Then in the second step of this wizard, I will be asked to select the header fields. And exactly those header fields that you see listed here are those default extractors that are the main capability of the pre-trained model. So the service is capable of extracting the information from unseen layouts of invoices. Okay, so either you can select the ones that you are interested in, or you can just go for all of them, and the algorithm will be searching for those fields on your document. In the next step, I am requested to select line items. And here are additional default extractors for the line items, the description, amount, quantity, and so on. And in the final third step, I can review my selection and still edit if I want to change anything. And by confirming, I'm uploading this document to the service. So now the document is running through the algorithms, so the pipeline of algorithms that the service provides out of the box. The status is pending because we are still waiting for the results to get back. And once the status changed to ready, we are able to review the results of the extraction. All right, so let's click on that. What we will see is the review panel. And here you can see the uploaded document, the uploaded PDF. And what is already visible here are those bounding boxes that indicate the location where certain values have been found. The blue ones, they indicate the header fields, and the orange ones, they indicate the line items, obviously. If you hover over those bounding boxes, you can also see the key value pair that got extracted from the global model. So in this case, you see that the number that you can see here in the small table is the invoice number. And this amount is the gross amount. And here you can see that the web design is the description of the line item. Additionally, what you can see here are the extraction results side by side. So now you see on the left side the document, and you can compare that with the extracted key value pairs. A nice functionality is if you click on a certain value, you're going to be guided to this value on the document. And similarly for the line items, you can see that there is one line item that got extracted. You can expand, and you also see all the values that got extracted. You also see the material number and unit of measure with a null. And this is actually quite understandable because these values are not on the invoice, and the service provided a null response since the algorithms have not found any values for those keys. Another functionality is that you can click on edit, and then you are able also to adjust the results if they are maybe not 100% accurate. So here in this example, you can, for example, see that the invoice date and the bounding box around the invoice date is also taking the order number into consideration, right? What you can do here, you can now re-annotate the date and assign it to the corresponding field. That would be the invoice date. And with that, you have corrected the ground truth, or basically you have re-annotated the document by saving. This value will be also then displayed correctly as well as the annotation. What you also might have seen when I was editing the document is this gray overlay behind the content. So this gray overlay indicates the OCR results. Another interesting feature are those extraction confidence ranges that you can see color-coded here. The service provides a certain confidence. Okay, now I have saved the ground truth, so the confidence changed to 100%. But of course, the service provides always a certain level of confidence with regard to the extracted values. Maybe let me upload the document again so that you can see those different values there. So let me run through the process again. So usually it takes like around 10 seconds, maybe less, to process the document. Okay, we are done. So you can see again, the document got processed, the information got extracted. Now you can see, for example, the currency code with a confidence of 73%, or the invoice number got extracted with a confidence of 98%, and so on. The supplier bank at 80%. So those confidence ranges and the confidence values are quite a good indication for you in order to possibly automate parts of your business process. So you could, for example, set certain thresholds which would indicate the risk factor, right? So if the confidence values are above this certain threshold, you can say the invoice can be directly pushed to the backend system. If it's below a certain threshold, you could, for example, build a workflow around that and send it to an employee for verification and correction. Good. So let me close that and let me go back to the GitHub repository. So what we did now was the exercise number 1, which was the pre-check of the service and of the instance that got created, so we can mark it as checked. The instance is working well, and the UI is also accessible. So now let's move on to the second exercise that will familiarize you with some additional functionalities and extension possibilities within the service. And we refer to that as a processing of custom document types. There are 2 sub-exercises which guide you through the procedure. So the first one is the creation of a custom schema for your custom document type. The schema, in principle, it's a kind of a definition of the fields that you want to extract, your custom fields, which means that if you process your custom document, you have certain key value pairs that you want to extract, and they not necessarily need to correspond with the standard extractors that SAP provides. So for that, you need to create a schema. In the second exercise, we will learn how to apply this schema for templates in order to process a custom layout of a document. Then in the first place, let's start with the exercise around creating schemas. Before I go into the user interface, let me click here on this link so you can also see how the tutorial looks like. So here you get a description of what the tutorial is about. And in a very easy way, you can see also all the steps that we will be doing together. So first of all, we will learn how to access the schema configuration in the UI. Then we will be creating a schema for our custom document type. We will be adding the header fields to this schema. And at the end, we will also activate this schema. Before we do that, let me present to you the document type that we will be processing as part of the tutorial. today, I have a power of attorney as a custom document type that we will try to extract information from. There are a couple of information or data points on the document that I am interested in. I marked them with this yellow highlighter. So first of all, we are interested in the shipper number, then in the exporter identification number, the EIN, the full name of the corporation, the state where the corporation resides, the full address, and then the capacity / role and the date. So the idea behind that is that for those fields or key value pairs, I need to create a certain custom schema in service. So let me go back to my document information extraction instance. Here now in the lower left section of this UI, you see the settings. Within the settings, there are a couple of possibilities, and one of them is the schema configuration. Let me select that. So now I'm in the schema part. So basically, we accomplished the first step of the tutorial, getting into the schema configuration panel. What you can see here are already certain schemas that are pre-configured and provided by SAP. They are active per default because they are being managed and provided by SAP, and you can use them when you upload the document for processing. You have, however, the possibility to either copy those schemas and then customize them as you need them, or you can create a brand new schema as it is for our new document type of power of attorney. So I need to provide a name for this schema. It's going to be custom power of attorney schema. I can provide a description. And the document type. Here again, I have the possibility to select the standard document types that SAP is supporting. That has certain advantages if you want to process invoices or payment advices. If you process standard document types. For this particular case, we need to select the custom because we will be dealing with the custom document type. Okay, let me now create the schema. And basically what we did, we created a bucket where we are now capable of providing and defining the fields that we wish to extract from the document. So in this case, in case of this particular document type, we will be interested only in header fields because there are no tables on the document, so we will not be extracting any line items. Okay, so once again, we need to know which header fields we want to extract. For that, you can go to the tutorial. There is a description of the header fields provided, I think, in the third step of this tutorial. And I also have them on the slide here. Let me prepare that here. So basically, I am interested in those 7 fields that can be found on the document. And I can start just adding them to my schema. So the first field will be the shipper number. And it's going to be the end of the data type string. Since we selected a custom document type, we cannot assign any default extractor. If we would be dealing with a standard document type, we could also assign default extractors. That's going to be part of the second exercise. Okay, let me then start adding the additional ones. Full name. also string. The identification number for the exporter, also string. Then the state, string. Full address, string. Capacity. It's a string. And the last one is the date. And here we will select the date as a data field or the data type. This has a certain impact. So independently of what the format of the date on the document is, the service will adjust the date to a standard format. All right. So now we have created all the fields in the schema. And actually now we are done with defining the fields that we are interested in. And with that, you might have seen previously the status of this schema is in draft. Now I need to activate the schema. Only if the schema is active, I can apply it for the template creation. All right, so now you can see that there are 4 SAP schemas and 1 custom schema of a custom type. So if we go back to the GitHub repository, we can say that the exercise 2A has been accomplished. And now with this custom schema, we can move on to exercise B. In this exercise, we will be creating a template based on the layout that we have seen. So let me move back to the user interface. And here, I will be taking advantage of the second capability that you can find in this application, which is called template. So as you can see here, I don't have any templates, but I can start creating brand new templates by adding a new one. So let me provide a name. It's going to be the custom power of attorney template. Now, again, I am asked what kind of a document type it is. So in my case, it's going to be custom document type. And here I need to provide the schema. The schema, again, defines the fields that I will be annotating on this particular document type. And I can also provide a sample document that I will be using for annotation. Okay, the template has been created, and now I can view the template details. You can see, so we are currently, let's go back for a second to the template list. So that's the template that I just created. And then now I'm able to open that. So what you can see here are some metadata about this template. So again, the document type, the schema that got mapped to this template, creation date, the status. You can also see sample documents that I attached to this template. So I provided one sample document, and this sample document, you might have not seen that, has been running through a pre-processing step. And this pre-processing step was basically the OCR activity that has been done on the document. This OCR activity allows me now to see the document. And if I want to now annotate the document, I will also see the OCR results on the document directly. So now you can see here on the right side the all the header fields that I defined in the schema. And now I'm requested to annotate the document with those fields. So now what we have to do, we have to select the location on the document where we expect this field to appear. So in this case, that's going to be the shipper number. So I can either select the shipper number here from the list and apply, so you can see that it's being annotated. Or I can also just select the number and then click on the field here on the right side, and it's automatically copy-pasted there. The next one is the full name, the state. I can find here the full address. Then let me scroll down. Yeah, I can find the capacity. And the date. Okay, now I can save my annotations. And you can see that my document got annotated with the header fields, which are colored blue, as we have seen on the supplier invoice. Okay, so now we are done with the annotation. What we now need to do is we need to activate the template. Once the status of the template is active, it means that the template can be now applied for document information extraction. For that, let me go back to our document section of the user interface. So we can see now the two invoices that I uploaded previously for processing with the pre-trained global model. And now I can start processing my custom document types. For that, I need to select the document type custom. Then I will be asked to provide a schema for this custom document type. That's going to be the custom power of attorney schema that we defined. And I need to select the template. So either I select the template here directly because I know which template to select and choose, or imagine you can have plenty of use cases that you want to support with the document information extraction. You could go for the detect automatically. So the service provides an automatic detection of templates. So based on the type of the document and the content of the document, the service is capable to apply the corresponding template to the document that I will be uploading. So since we only have one template now in place, this detect automatically doesn't really make sense. So I can also select the template. This would make sense if you had like a set of templates. All right, so in the next step, I can select the documents for processing. So I annotated the first document. So let me now test that with two additional documents that I've prepared for that. Then in the second step, I will see the header fields that will be requested. We don't have any line items. That's correct. So we still can review. We have those 7 fields. Okay, by confirming, I'm uploading now those 2 documents to the service. It's again running through the service, and the template will be also applied. So you see now the status has changed to ready. So now we can review the extraction results for those 2 documents. So let's take a look. Okay, voila. We can see the bounding boxes around the locations that I specified in the annotated document. And similarly here, I can see the extraction results side by side with the confidence values that the service also provides. And let's also check the second document. And similarly here, the template and the schema have been applied. And also the information, the key value pairs have been extracted properly from the document. And again, by clicking on the fields here, I'll be guided to the locations on the document that the values got extracted from. Good. So let me go back to our GitHub repository. And let me recap what we have just done. So we did the exercise number 1 with the pre-trained model for supplier invoices. That worked well. Then we did the exercise number 2, where we created a schema, which is the definition of the fields, so the data types that we want to extract from a certain document type. And then we created a template that can be then applied to similar documents in order to extract information from those documents. So you can imagine now having this template in place with those business entities that you can extract from documents. Now you can upload similar documents in bulks and then extract the information at once. Okay, so with that, we can mark exercise number 2 as done. I hope that you could follow the steps so far. And with that, I think we have still enough time to do the optional exercise, exercise number 3, which allows you to create templates for standard document types. So in this exercise, what you will learn is how to mix the capabilities of a pre-trained model with the custom capabilities of extending the service for your own fields that you want to extract from your own documents. So similarly here, we will be having 2 sub-exercises. So the first one will be, again, creating a schema, and the second one will be creating a template. However, this time we will focus on a standard document type, which is a purchase order. So now let's have a look at the purchase order that we want to process. So what you can see here is a vertical document, which is quite heavy, I would say. We have several header fields here in this part of the document, and you also have a quite big table with many line items. Plus, what you can also see here is that the table goes onto the second page, where you can find one additional line item. The exercise in the tutorial will request you to create a bunch of header fields that you then have to annotate on the document. But due to the time constraints that we have today, I would be focusing on showing you how to annotate the table. And for that, I will be providing some custom fields for the line items, so that we can then see whether the service is also capable of executing the extraction on the table level itself. All right, so again, let me go back to the user interface and to the schema configuration. So I will be creating a custom purchase order schema. And now, instead of selecting a custom document type, I will go for the purchase order. So what I will be intending is to use the capabilities of the pre-trained global model for purchase orders and applying also extensions to this model. Okay, let me create the new schema. So I have the bucket now. And now I need to provide the line items that I want to extract from the document. So let me go back to my presentation. On the other slide, I prepared also the list of the line items that are required for the schema definition. So I will be now skipping the annotation, or sorry, the definition of the header fields for this purchase order. I will be only focusing on the line items. So the first field name that I am interested in is the SKU number, SKU number. The data type is string. And there is no default extractor in the global model to extract SKU numbers. So that's not an extractor that is provided by the SAP global model. Then the next line item is the description. The description is also of the type string. However, now I know that the global model also provides the capability of extracting the description. So now I will select the default extractor from the global model for description. With that, I have a fallback solution basically. So I will be applying the template to this document, plus also the capabilities of the global model. Okay. So now you can see also on the list that the SKU number does not feature any default extractor, whereas the description does. Okay, then we have the UPC number that I am also willing to extract from the table. It's also a string, no default extractor available. Then the next one is the quantity, and the quantity is a number. And for this particular field, I will be also backing up with a default extractor for quantity. The next one is the unit price net. Data type number. No default extractor. And the unit price gross. Number as well. The VAT rate. Number. And the total cost, which is also a number. Good. So now we have defined the line items that we are willing to extract from the table from this particular purchase order layout. So similarly to the others, now we need to activate it. So the status has changed to active. So now we have two custom schemas. One is for the custom type power of attorney, and one is for the document type purchase orders. And with that, we accomplished the first part of the second exercise, which is the schema creation. The second part will be creating a template, which means annotating this particular document based on the schema that I just created. For that, again, I'm going to the template part of the application. Here we see the active template for power of attorney. And now I can add a custom purchase order template. In this case, I will be going for the document type purchase order. I'll select the schema, which was the custom purchase order schema. And then I will be requested to upload a sample document required for the annotation. So again, you see that the template has been drafted. Now, once I click on the OK, I will be directly guided to the template. And you can see here the status pending. The document that I am just uploading as a sample document is running through the OCR engine. So it's being scanned. And once it's done, I will be able to start annotating the document. So let's give it a second. All right. So now the document has been pre-processed, which means it's ready for annotation. By the way, here at the template level, what you can see next to the metadata and to the list of sample documents that you uploaded, you can also see the extraction fields. So these are the extraction fields that are related to the schema that got met with this template, which are those fields that I've just created for the schema definition. Okay, so let me go back to the sample document. I click on the document, and now I can start annotating it. So again, I need to click here on this annotate button. And once I click the edit button, I will be able to annotate the document. So let me, so I will be annotating only line items. So I'm not focusing on the header fields. If you wish, the tutorial also explains how to annotate header fields, but it's similar to the way how we did it for the power of autonomy. So now I'm requested to annotate at least 2 line items. So I'm not forced to annotate the full template, the full table, but only the 2 line items, and the service will learn what the pattern of the table is. So first of all, I need to create a first line item, and this first line item provides me the list of the fields that I am requested to annotate. So the first one is the SKU, that's the SKU number. Then the second one was description. Then there's the UPC number. And the ordered quantity. The unit price. Net. The unit price gross. Then the VAT rate. And finally, the total cost. All right, so with that, we annotated the first line item, and now we will annotate the second line item. So similarly, we'll go for the SKU first. And I want to apply it to the second row index. Description. You can see that the fields are getting populated, the UPC. The ordered quantity. The unit price net. Then the unit price gross. The VAT rate. And finally, the total costs. All right, so with that, we have 2 line items as requested by the service. And I don't need to do more. The service should be capable of recognizing the pattern of line items. So let me now save the annotation. Now you will also see the orange colored bounding boxes on the document. And the last step of preparing the template for applying it is the activation. So template has been successfully activated. And with that, this template is ready to be used. So let me go back to the document panel to see the previously uploaded documents already here. So let me now upload the documents for purchase orders. Now I can select the schema. So I could go with the SAP purchase order schema, but if I apply this schema, I will not get the custom fields that I have just defined in my custom schema. So I will go for the custom purchase order schema. And then similarly here, you can also detect automatically all the templates that you created for your purchase orders. So in that case, we only have one, but let me select the detect automatically functionality. And let me now upload the second test document that I provided. Okay, in the second step, we will see that there are no header fields selected because I have not defined them in my custom schema, since I'm only interested in line items. And here you can see line items that I defined in my custom schema for purchase orders. In the final review step, again, I can see the selection that I did. You can edit, and by confirming, I'm uploading the document to the service. Again, the service is running through OCR. The template is being applied. In this particular case, also the global model is providing its capabilities for the default extractor that I was mapping to the schema. Okay, you see, it was less than 10 seconds. The document has been processed. Now we can take a look at the results. So, as we have seen, we annotated only 2 line items, and the pattern of the table, so the height and the width of all the columns has been recognized and has been applied to other line items. Let's also take a look at the second page. Since we have also the table on the second page, and the table is also having a header field description here, the pattern was also applied to the second part of the document. And you remember, I have not been annotating the second page, so the service is smart enough to learn that this pattern might also go on to additional pages. Okay, let me then check the extraction results here side by side. So again, you can expand all the line items, and you can navigate through all the line items and the corresponding key value pairs that were extracted per line item. One thing that I also wanted to show to you is we have seen that in the first part is that once you edit, you can also confirm the document. So you can either adjust the extraction results if you require it, and then save the ground truth, or you can confirm the document. So once you confirm the documents, so similarly to other SAP functionalities, once you confirm, you will not be able to change the values once again. So with that, you can basically also request your business users or end users to confirm only documents that they have corrected and validated. And with confirming these documents, they can be also sent directly for creating, for example, a sales order in an SAP backend system. Okay, let's confirm that. And it has been confirmed successfully. Now, if we go back to the list of our documents, you can see that the document has also other status as the other ones. And with that, we have also now accomplished the second exercise for today. Since we still have some time, there is also one part of an exercise. If we go back to our GitHub repository, which we call an alternative approach or a shortcut to this exercise. So what we have done so far is we did all the steps of creating a schema and annotating the templates, activating that, and so on. The alternative approach lets you share the templates and schemas that you create in your own tenant. So if you have created a schema and template previously, and you also uploaded a sample document, annotated that, you have the capability to export the template. So let me go back now to the user interface again. So you can see here, if I select a certain template, I am able also to download, sorry, it's a document. I need to go to the templates. So here I am able to export the table, the template. So all the related information of this template, be it the schema and the schema configuration, the sample document, and the annotation of the document, will be also exported in a zip file. This allows you to share the templates with others. So let me go back to the GitHub repository. So what we prepared for you as an alternative approach is we prepared such a zipped file so that you can basically grab it and import it into your own document information extraction project. So if you go here, you will be guided through a short procedure how to do that. So you can download a zip file from here. Let me go here. So there is a zip file, as you can see, that you can download. So now you can see the custom purchase order template has been also downloaded. Now I can go back to my user interface. Let me go back to the list of my templates. And now I have the feature of importing a template. So now let me go to my downloads. And I can see the custom purchase order template here, zip. I can select that, open that. And then I'm asked whether I want to import this custom purchase order template. I say, okay. Then I will be asked whether I am also sure to import the schema, the corresponding schema of this custom purchase order. Yes. Okay, now in this case, of course, that's a default behavior of the system. I cannot import templates and schemas with the same name. So for that, let me do the following. I will now show you how to deactivate the template. So now I can deactivate the template. So the template will go back to the status draft. And now I can edit this template. Let me call it TechEd. And I can go back to the schema. Okay, I cannot deactivate the schema because it's being used by the template. So basically, what I would need to do for that, I would need to delete the template and rename the schema. But since we are in the live session, let me change to my backup system, which is my internal production. And here I have a blank template for document information extraction, and I can provide this template to this other tenant. So let me import again the zip file. Okay, again, I am asked whether I want to create this template, whether I want to create a schema. Yes. Now the schema has been activated, template has been created. So now you can see that the template custom purchase order template has been created, both the template and the custom schema. So now you can see, let's take a look at the template. There is also a sample document that got uploaded, and then the extraction fields. So here in this particular schema, you can see that we also defined a set of header fields. So similarly to what is requested in the tutorial, and also the line items. The sample document is also annotated already, so I don't need to do any kind of an annotation. The only thing I need to do now is to activate it. So now I have an active custom purchase order template in my second instance of document information extraction. And now I can upload a purchase order. Detect automatically. Let me select again. Sorry, the purchase order. So now you see that now also the template will be extracting the header fields that are part of the schema and line items. So let me redo again, and then confirm, and the document will be uploaded and processed with this new template. So I hope that my internal production system is not down and that I'll get the status ready. Great. Here you can see that the template got applied to the same document that I was processing before. And here, additionally, you also see the header fields that got extracted. Good. So let me now go back to our GitHub repository. And let's go back to our exercises. And let me recap what we have done in this session now. So we have created a free trial account on BTP. We run a booster for document information extraction to create a service instance and to assign a UI application to that. Then we had the first exercise, which was uploading the supplier invoice and processing it with the pre-trained global model for supplier invoices, which is managed by SAP. In the second exercise, we created a custom document type processing project for power of attorney. We were requested to create a schema and a template. And then we also used the remaining time to also accomplish the third exercise by creating a custom schema for a purchase order and applying a template, as well as trying out the import and export functionality of the service and processing the document with the template that got extracted, that got imported to the service. So with that, we actually did all the hands-on exercises that were planned for today. I hope that you managed to run through almost all of them. Now I would go back to my presentation, because I still have 2 slides that I would like to share with you. Let me share that. All right, so we are in the last part of the session today, where I would like to wrap up, summarize what we have learned, what we have seen, and give you guidance what you could now do as a next step. So if you like the capabilities that were just presented to you, you have the following engagement options if you want to take the next step. So this service that we were just trying out is productive on BTP and is ready to be used. And there are many entry options that you have. So the first, the foremost one, which I would suggest or recommend to you, is either trying it out with the trial version, or you can go with the free tier option on the BTP. So our service is also providing this service plan to you. And basically you have the same quota boundaries as you would have on the trial, but the main advantage of the free tier is that from here you can easily scale out and move to a productive usage of the service. And with that, you don't need to transfer the content that you created on a trial landscape to your productive landscape. With the free tier, you can easily select the commercial option that you are interested in. And there are a couple of commercial options that you can choose in order to consume this service. So the first option is the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, which your company enterprise can already have with SAP. You can easily purchase this service also via the SAP store and as a subscription, and also we provide a pay-as-you-go model. For partners who are interested in building applications on top of this service, there are also the TDD licenses, so the test, demo, and development approach that are available for our partners. As I've mentioned before, the service is available on different data centers in Europe, in Asia Pacific region, as well as in North America. So that's the part where you can consume the service standalone. But as I've mentioned before, one of our strategic purpose is to provide this capability to our customers, partners via a standard integration, being natively integrated and provisioned with the standard products of SAP. And here I prepared a short list of some pre-integrated options that you might already have in use in your company, and you are not even aware that this document information extraction capability is already part of your standard business processes. So to just name a few of them, you can use SAP Concur Invoice Capture, which is powered by document information extraction. You'll find the service and its capabilities in Central Invoice Management for SAP S/4HANA Cloud. It's also part of SAP Cash application. For small and mid-sized companies, it can be also used in the scenario of intelligent invoice scanning, and also many more in Business by Design. We provide this capability also as part of SAP S/4HANA Cloud for sales order automation scenario. And finally, last but not least, all the capabilities that we have seen, be it the pre-trained global models, the schema creation, template creation and management, business OCR capability, is all part of SAP Build Process Automation. From there, you can easily build your automations, and by drag and dropping the corresponding activities, you can process business documents within SAP Build Process Automation. What I also provided on this slide are a couple of links that will guide you to several assets, which will help you to engage with us, to learn more about the product, to try it out. So we have all the sets of assets and accelerators that will help you to scale out with the service. You'll find them on the SAP Help portal. There is the Discovery Center, as I mentioned before. We also maintain an SAP Community page for business document processing, where you'll find blogs about the use cases, about the integration options, reference architectures, and so on. And finally, there is a link to the consumption options, which describes all the possibilities that you have, how you can kickstart with document information extraction. And finally, I wanted to encourage you to use the great learning offerings that are complements to your conference experience. You can prepare for a certification in development roles with 3 SAP learning journeys and 5 learning sessions led by our SAP experts. And you should have received also an exclusive SAP TechEd certification offer, which is part of your TechEd registration email. You can also connect with experts and expand your network via the SAP Community or SAP learning groups, and all the great assets around learning and expanding your skills you'll find, of course, on learning.sap.com/TechEd. And now we are at the end of today's session and the workshop. I hope you enjoyed the session the same as I did. Thank you very much for your participation and attention. And I also would like to thank Tobias, who was moderating probably a very lively discussion in the chat panel. Thanks, Tobias, for that, and wish you great time in Las Vegas. If you wish to engage with us or learn more about our products, please connect directly with us. Thanks a lot again for the participation. Have a great conference and hopefully see you next year. Thanks a lot.